Make no mistake, it's cold. From the plains to the northeast to the southeast to the Gulf states to the Gulf of Mexico. But the cold air is pulling out. We've got an upper low that's pulling out too, dusting things up a bit across eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England, and I do mean dusting it up. I've had thicker dust on my baseboards. We've got all of that and more tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which you can support by doing your Amazon shopping via our referral link that's pinned to the top of the chat board or on the descriptor to this podcast. Very simple. Just use the link, search, shop, buy whatever it is you're going to buy. Amazon throws us back a little bit of coin for sending you there. It doesn't cost you 1 cent out of your pocket, and it's an easy, simple way to support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. It also keeps commercial ads off the show, which is pretty
which is
good.
nice.
Yeah, it
Yes.
is.
And
Excuse
speaking
me.
of dusting, speaking of
Yes.
dusting, my driveway is coated, my deck is coated, everything is white again, Joe.
But not for long because we are going to see things warm up. My low today was 19. I actually had snow this morning. I did have a coating also. Parts of town got a little bit more. But the low this morning here was 19. A high today, 26.
Okay,
26. I mean,
lovely.
that's as cold as some of the days we had back in January. I think today may have been the lowest high temperature. I have to check that. Might have been my lowest high temperature, and that was mainly because it was mostly overcast for much of the day.
Well, right now, outside, we have a temperature of approximately 20 degrees here in little old Putnam Valley. And that's part of the reason why we do have a coating. Even with the light precipitation that is falling, every snowflake is sticking to the pavement, to the driveway, to the streets, the sidewalks. And so that has produced, again, this light coating of snow. It's not going to, when you consider it last week at this time, there were people who were dreaming about the potential of a 12 to 18-inch snowfall on this day, and now all we have to show for it is just a light coating. It's a big downturn from uh, what people were thinking a week ago. But you're absolutely right. This isn't going to last out too much longer. We're probably going to see it come to an end within the next hour or two, and then after that, the beginnings of a warming trend. And in fact, by the time we get to Sunday, we'll be in the lower 40s and maybe mid to upper 40s for the first half of next week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So enjoy this, brief spell of wintry weather, and it hasn't been so brief in the terms of the temperature department. In fact, Joe, this is the coldest uh, winter for the New York tri-state area going back to the year 2014. We have not had a winter as persistently cold as this in New York and environs in about 11 years. So we certainly have had our fair share of cold weather, but in terms of snow, well, not all that much. Case in point, what's going out there right now.
Now, this Arctic air is actually going to pull out, not just in the Northeast, but everywhere, which is good. And while we've got a couple of weather fronts look ahead for next week. The pattern looks mostly dry, and the air doesn't look especially cold. On the other hand, it doesn't look especially warm either.
It's not one of those warming trends where you're going to see temperatures soar, as we have seen in recent Februaries through the 50s and 60s, and even perhaps touching 70. That's not going to happen. But, as long as we can get it to or even a little bit above normal, and normal now for the lower Hudson Valley is about 42. So if we can get it to like 44, 46, that's okay. At least in my book, it will certainly feel warm compared to what we have been accustomed to feeling over the past week or 10 days here.
All right, welcome to everybody on the chat board tonight, and those of you watching in the background, welcome to tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. If you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, do so. I think we need six more for 15,000. So hopefully we'll get it tonight. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and then you can get on the chat board. If you like the show, hit the like button. We're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. I'm thinking, Joe, I was thinking of maybe we should take Sunday off.
Really?
Yeah,
You think so?
really. What's that?
Yeah, I think you think so.
You think? I think, yes.
Well, okay. Well, you are the man of scheduling for these shows. I know that you will be annoying Ruben Fairchild to no end by that statement, but what the heck?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a bit of a quiet zone. We did 2 Saturdays in a row, so I think this is where we'll make it up. So we won't have a show on Sunday. Normally, we have a show on Sunday because we're on Sunday through Thursday at 7:35, and the occasional Friday and Saturday when there's a storm around. But this Sunday, we're going to take Sunday off. So don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the like button. So I saw that Virginia Beach got a foot of snow out of this. And, Southeast Virginia, Northeast North Carolina did very well. And you didn't have to go that far north to not do very well as far as snow is concerned.
Well, we had said that we had targeted that the southeastern Virginia, the lower Delmarva, was probably going to be the place where they were going to get the most snow out of this. Could have been if it had taken a different track. It could have been places further north up the coast, but it didn't do that. But at least somebody on the mid Atlantic did get a very significant, if not downright substantial, snow with this particular weather system. And by the way, if you're getting snow out there right now, if you do have a light coating like I have, this is not due to the storm that brought a foot of snow to Virginia Beach. This is due to an upper level system, a disturbance in the atmosphere, a shot of energy, if you will, that the surface system, the system that brought all the snow, outran, so to speak. And so now the upper level system is passing across the Northeast and is churning up the atmosphere enough to produce these areas of light snow, snow showers, flurries, which is occurring right now. But once that upper level system moves on out and away later tonight, that'll put an end to the snow. And it looks like Joe, at least according to this forecaster, that we may go much of the upcoming week without seeing any precipitation. I think the next chance for any significant precip now doesn't look like it's going to come our way until maybe a week from now. Next Thursday, we may get some rain showers. But till then, basically, aside from some in and out cloud cover from time to time, looks basically dry and again, a gradual moderation in temperatures.
Yeah, you can see the rotation. I have the enhanced satellite view. If you ever go to the Ghost site, this is the sandwich view because it uses the visible, and then it enhances the higher cloud tops. And you can see the rotation here, this sort of east-west arc of clouds. This is where we're getting the upper low is actually tracking across southern New Jersey and moving offshore. And Joe's right. The surface system, the earlier models that were making this into a big storm uh, had that upper low basically coming down and getting the southern part of the southern half of it, and lifting the southern half up the coast and energizing it into a major storm. Missed. It was mistimed. The southern feature ran out ahead, and now you're seeing you can actually still see the remnants of that storm passing south and east of Nova Scotia now and Newfoundland, while the upper air system is overhead at the moment. And as we look out in the Gulf of Mexico, just want to point out that the bitter cold air made it pretty, all the way south into Texas and in the Gulf. And you can see, the interaction of that cold air with the warm water. This is all, fog that's out here in the central, in the Gulf of Mexico offshore. It stands out like a sore thumb. And you'll notice that low cloudiness really isn't moving very much, if at all. We have some energy up in the Rockies. You can see a rotation there dropping through Utah and Wyoming and Colorado. And we've got more energy with these brighter high cloud tops off the Pacific Northwest coast that are starting to come inland. As far as anything left over with respect to watches and warnings, we actually still have winter weather advisories up in Southeast Virginia and Northeast North Carolina because another renegade band of snow came in from the Northwest. When it rains, it pours, or in this case, when it snows, it snows. And snow begets snow. And that's kind of what happened today in this area. And of course, we know that from Kansas to Virginia, that general zone has been the jackpot zone this winter. Still seeing some winter weather advisories in western and southwestern New York, where they've been dealing with lake effect snows all week long in upstate New York. A few advisories and a couple of winter storm warnings up in parts of northern Utah, southwest Wyoming, and southeast Idaho. And I'm thinking, Joe, that they've brought out in the Pacific Northwest. Is that what I think it is? Those dark blue boxes are what? It's a hazardous seas warn. No, why do they not? Why is the color one color on one map and then it's another color on another? These are the things that. Oh, okay. So they went from a hazardous seas watch to a hazardous seas warning. I guess I needed to refresh the map here. And we also have flood watches up in northern Idaho and in northwestern Montana with advisories a little bit further to the east. Very interesting setup there. As far as what's on the radar tonight, and it's very cold. I mean, temperatures are in the teens to around 20. So I was looking at the observations. Normally, this would be the grayer areas here that show up on the radar probably wouldn't be doing anything. It'd be all virga, not reaching the ground. But judging from the observations, it is snowing lightly through much of northern New Jersey, Long Island, and the Hudson Valley. And there are a couple of slightly, let's call them slightly steadier areas of snow, very small areas of green. One's coming off Long Island Sound at the moment as of 7:50, and it looks like that's in moving into moving over western and central Suffolk County and moving southward. Then, of course, you've got some other bands of lake effect coming in off Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, and then there's still some more up in northern New York. Meanwhile, we've got a little bit of snow here in parts of Colorado around Denver, also around Salt Lake City or just north of Salt Lake City, and a little bit of moisture coming into the Pacific Northwest. There really isn't much going on. And you're right, Mr. Rayo, because WPC, except for a small area in southeast Texas and into Louisiana, southern Louisiana, where they have a half to three-quarters of an inch, pretty much everybody, except for the Pacific Northwest, showing either no precip or a tenth to maybe a quarter of an inch in some spots over the next 7 days. We're going into another one of these quiet stretches.
And when you're looking at this map and you do see the areas around New York State and Pennsylvania, and it looks like there's a fairly, I'm not going to say a heavy amount of rain, but or precipitation, but at least a quarter to maybe a half an inch. You say, well, Rayo just said though that we're going to see dry weather for the next week. Yeah, well, after tonight's little bit of snow, it's going to be dry tomorrow, dry Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but Thursday, especially Thursday afternoon and evening, there may be some shower activity, some significant shower activity that may drop, oh, I don't know, a couple of tenths, maybe even a quarter of an inch or more, a little bit like that. That's what you're probably seeing is that system next week, bringing in all of that wet weather for the parts of the northeastern United States. So basically, if you eliminate Thursday from the equation, you'll probably see much of the northeast and mid-Atlantic in the white zone. And we'll be waiting until, again, this time next week to get our next round of any kind of significant liquid precipitation.
All right, I saw somebody. I didn't see it today. I'm going to put the Canadian up because somebody mentioned the Canadian. So let's let's
Rich
see.
Rothmansky. Rich
Oh,
Rothmansky
Rich
said that
Rothmansky then. All right,
he
so let
said
me
people
see.
will be salivating at the CMC 12. I'm assuming that that was the 12Z run of the Canadian model. I did not really take a good hard look, so I'm
Oh,
not.
I mean, is it because it had? Is it this diver? that it has next Wednesday, which now, all the other models, well, the GFS also had a low dropping southeast into Virginia, North Carolina, and then it deepens it into a 9. Hold on. I got to look close here. At an 8, I think it's a 984 low with the dark blue heavy snow. Yes, dream on, folks. And then goes on out to the northeast. Another example of something that the models show trying to climb up the coast and will wind up not happening, probably. And there's another front after that. So the GFS at 12Z today had a similar, though not as deep, system. I believe it was at 12, or maybe it was at 6. Is it the 12? Yeah, I think it was the 12. So here we go. Uh, we got obviously the core of the cold air starts to go out tomorrow. We begin our warm up. There's precip and rain and snow up in the Pacific Northwest. There's a low moving across the Gulf of Mexico and over Florida way south. And then you've got this weather front on Tuesday that goes by with a shower, and then a follow-up low, which dives southeastward into Kentucky and then into North Carolina with marginal cold air, but it's not nearly as deep as the Canadian has it. The Canadian probably has a stronger looking 500 trough, and then off it goes. And then there's another front and a shot of cold air behind it, another front and a shot of very cold air behind that one. And then we've got something that comes across the south and takes a low up the west side of the Appalachians in the long, long range. Look, I'm just going to say you're better off when the model, I've said this many times, Joe, and I'll stick to it. You really are better off when the models don't show anything on these silly surface maps because, they're just not going to be correct once you get beyond the sixth or seventh day. And even, sometimes, beyond the fourth and fifth day, it's not going to be correct. The general flavor of the overall pattern is troughs coming into the east, ridges in the west. We're going to continue to get these cold shots, but everything is also moving along from west to east. So cold shots will come in, then you'll have to wait for another front to go by. I mean, I don't see anything here that is suggesting anything in the longer term, at least not tonight. It does look like overall more days, longer range will be colder rather than warmer. But as far as storms are concerned, it's not really showing a whole heck of a lot.
I love Scott Patton. Scott Patton on the chat board has already made, ladies and gentlemen, let me draw your attention to Scott Patton, who has just mentioned on the chat board, no more snow, winter. No more snow, winter is over, folks. So said the man as it's snowing outside my window right now. No more snow. It's all over. Done. Put away your snow shovels. Run your
Put them
snow blower.
away. You barely took them out.
Yeah, yeah.
Look,
Already throwing in the towel. It's not even the end of February, and yet there are people out there who just maybe it's because he's just so brokenhearted over the fact that last week he was so much counting on 12 inches of snow with this system that we are experiencing right now. And if it's not going to snow with this system, why should I even try and think that it's going to snow next week or next month or whenever for the balance of this winter season? That's how a lot of people feel, I guess, right now, that they want to just give up on winter.
Right. Winter isn't over, Joe, until the Jardian Slady sings.
And Ruben from the Mohawk Valley, who always changes his title every other week. I guess he's hiding something. I guess that the only people who are hiding something change their names and change it to an alias every other week. But he says, and I guess he's siding with Scott Patton, he says, come back in 1 month and remember this day when you were correct and how you were wrongly mocked. Ruben, oofa to you too. My grandfather used to say that. If you're Italian, you know what oofa means.
Yes, well, thankfully you when you lifted your hand there, you used your entire hand and not just
Yes.
any
Yes.
particular finger.
Yes.
Do you have Briller
Exactly.
Jeopardy?
Yes, I do.
You
In
do.
fact,
Okay, good.
Scott,
Let's
Scott sent
get
it to
it.
me 3 times last night.
Okay, let's do it and get it done so we can start our 3 day weekend.
Very good. I will do that right now. And yeah, he sent it. He sent the triplicate, and he said, "Sorry for the triplicate. I kept getting error messages." No problem, Scott. No problem at all. It is, as I say always to my lovely wife when things do not work, technology. I forgot what it was, but yesterday she was trying to use her cell phone or her iPhone, and it wasn't quite working the way she wanted it. And I said, "Haven't you learned by now that it only works when you're not using it for anything purposeful? When you need it, and when you desperately need to use it, that's when it'll something will malfunction and break down or whatever. Bring back the rotary phones." All right, here we go. On this Briller Jeopardy, ladies and gentlemen, the average lows in February. The average lows. Starting with this is the average low temperature now. No snow amounts, no rainfall totals. These are the average ambient low temperatures in Fahrenheit degrees for February for the following cities. Starting with the Queen City, Cincinnati.
For the month of February,
Yes.
I'll
I have to ask.
say,
I should ask Mrs. Hutch, 53, who's on the chat board because she lives not too far from Cincinnati, only about I guess an hour and a half drive. Why do they call it the Queen City, or have we asked that question
oh, I
before?
looked it up. It goes back to like the 1800s. I forget the reason why.
Okay, all
Um,
right,
uh, I'm going to say 25.
close. Snake Country, very very close, Joe. Like
All
I
right.
said, and for people who don't understand when you got something very close and I say Snake Country, it goes back to the I Love Lucy monologue. If it were a snake,
I
it would
would,
have bit.
I would have bet you because the guy was Fred was looking for his glasses and they were on his head. So
Yes.
we've got Scalera and what did I said 25. So we have
Well,
let's
let's
see,
hear the other thing. Scalera and
Cardillo,
And Menendez, you
Card,
are both also in Snake Country. What's your
Cardillo,
number?
Chuck Cardillo at 26.
Leon of Lindenhurst, Donald Colgan, William Huber. You're all right there. 26 degrees for the average temperature, average low temperature in February. We move on to Big D, Dallas. Average low temperature in February.
In February.
Yes.
Let's see, because Atlanta's like in the mid 30s. I'll say I'll say 30s, 38.
Way off.
Too high, too low.
Too low. Too
Yeah.
low.
All right. Well, how about 48?
Too high.
Okay. Let's split the difference. 43.
That puts you in Snake Country, like Vincent
Okay.
Croce. Vincent
Uh,
Croce is 43. Donald
Dave
Colgan is 40.
Dave Carter, William Uber at 44, and
That's a
Frank
little on the
R at
high.
44.
Brady G, 111. You got it. 42. Chuck
42.
Cardillo, 42.
Okay.
There you go.
Next.
Motor City, Detroit.
Uh, I'll say 22.
Another one that puts you right there, Joe.
I'm getting close, except for the Dallas one. Johnny Sachs at 23.
Well, we already have a
Mark
winner on the chat board with
Chuck
Chuck Cardillo
Cardillo at 21.
and Brady G, 111, 21. Yes, 21.
21.
Yes. So
Next.
we already looked at Detroit at Dallas, Big D with 42. So why don't we move south to Houston?
I'll say 52.
Just a tad on the high side for
Just a
that.
smidge. Um, okay. Well, John Melander says 49, and Vincent Croce at 48.
And Brady G with 111, he hit it with 50,
50.
50 degrees. And our next one, number 5 on our list, is Louisville.
Louisville.
Yes.
Okay. You're not going to bring out the Frankfurt joke, are you?
Oh, I'm not going to bring the Frankfurt joke out.
Okay. Um, what do we say for what was Cincinnati again?
26.
Louisville is kind of not.
Brady G. Where else would Louisville be? You said Kentucky?
Yeah. I'll say 24.
Too low, Joe.
Too low.
Oh,
Okay.
way down.
Um, Shrubby said 20. Shrubby, you're too high with 38. We're doing lows here. Louisville, Kentucky. Everybody's putting up numbers like in the mid and upper 30s.
Except for one, John Melander, who hit it right on the nose with 31 degrees.
That's kind of odd to me because Cincinnati. I mean, Louisville is almost on the. I mean, it's not quite, but it's almost on the same latitude as Cincinnati. Why would it be that much colder in Cincinnati and that as opposed to Louisville?
I don't know. I did
Oh,
not dig up these numbers.
all right. I mean, maybe it has something to do with its position against the Appalachians. I don't know. Just
And
want
here's
to.
the bonus question tonight. Flagstaff.
Oh, I don't have any idea with Flagstaff. Um, hold on a second. I'm just checking something here. 38.2, and let's see. Cincinnati is at 39.1. All right, so it's about 50 miles. They're almost on the same latitude. I don't know why it should be that much warmer at Louisville. All right, Flagstaff, I'll say the average low. I have no idea. I'll say 25.
Too warm.
Too warm. John Melander said 23.
Lakeville 500, 70 degrees for the average low in the month of February for Flagstaff? I don't think so. No. Much.
Frank Scalera said 19.
Frank Scalera's in Snake Country with that.
David Fuller said 20. And Brady G says 18.
Well, the 20 wins. That's it.
20
20 degrees.
wins. All right.
Average low temperature in February, 20 degrees.
All right. Well, that's pretty good. So, anyway, weekend. A nice, long, restful weekend. That is my plan of attack. What is your plan of attack?
I have no plan whatsoever. I know on Sunday it is the rescheduled German American Club. Um, uh,
Striptease competition.
and so we will, and they're serving a spaghetti dinner or spaghetti lunch or whatever. So
They're
at least
serving, they're
I have
serving
something to look forward
spaghetti
to.
at the German club.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Well,
Well, like you and I are both Italian. I'm sure that you and I both remember in our younger days having dinner, quote unquote, on a Sunday at 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon, and it was always, or usually it was always spaghetti, meatballs, sausage.
well, I will just say, in terms of the type of pasta, it was in my house. In terms of the type of pasta, we never had spaghetti.
Really,
Never.
linguine.
Linguine, yes. I think maybe in my life I might have had spaghetti twice. I have linguine. It was either linguine or fettuccine, but we never had spaghetti.
Well,
Because if you
okay,
go to Italy, they don't have spaghetti.
all right.
I'm just telling you.
Well, whatever. We had some sort of pasta on Sundays at my ate our at my
Oh yeah,
grandmother's house.
we
On
always had we had pasta on Sunday, but we just never had spaghetti. We had rigatoni, we had
yeah,
ziti, but
right.
on other nights we would have linguine or we would have fettuccine. Sometimes my mother would make the bow tie pastas. I forgot the farfalles, the butterfly farfalle. But that was it. Yeah,
There was
Vincent
always
Cochi, we never did stuffed shells in my house.
one
Interestingly enough.
thirty or 1 o'clock was when we already came back from Sunday mass. Dinner was always at around 1 or 1:30,
Yeah.
at the late 2 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock, when Lassie was coming on, or right after Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom was signing off for the week or signing off for the day on a Sunday,
With
that's when
Marlon Perkins.
that's when we would go back to the kitchen and scoop up some leftover meatballs or sausage or pasta from the earlier part of the day. So that's how Sundays were at our house. And so this Sunday, as I said, at the German club, spaghetti and meatballs.
Well,
So that'll be,
enjoy.
thank you.
Enjoy. And we'll see everybody on Monday. Okay. We're taking Sunday off, so we'll see everybody on Monday. So everybody have a good evening and a good weekend.
Wait a
And
minute. Wait a minute.
what?
We have an update here from
It's at least 1¼ inch I measured.
1 1/4 inches here at the Rayo house, believe it or not.
Well, I said yesterday, sometimes upper lows can do strange things.
Oh, they're
And,
doing
it,
it right now.
and there you have it. Still snowing?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's still snowing.
All right. Well, get out the leaf blower because you could just blow the stuff off instead of shoveling it.
Well, considering how warm it's going to get the next couple of days, why bother?
Exactly.
It'll
All
be
right.
bright and sunny tomorrow, so the sun should do its job. The higher sun angle compared to a month ago will help to melt everything off.
And on that note, nighty night, everybody.
Okay.